Hey you, my name is Queen. If you're new here, I'm the founder of Vixen. If you're not new here, hey boo, thanks for coming back. Today we are talking about self-acceptance. Yes we is. So I do have a video that I think you should check out when I'm talking about ways we should be looking at love, inspired by the book from Bell Hooks, All About Love. There's a link below if you want to check out that video. But I realized I couldn't talk about love and just totally disregard the conversation of self-love. I am at a point in my life where I think that whole concept is flawed and trash and I want to throw it away. So I wanted to talk about that today. So I was on a panel a few months ago on the GRAPEVINE TV and we were talking about the colonization of Black beauty standards. The conversation was a lot about plastic surgery, Black women getting plastic surgery, how the Black woman's body has been commodified and used by many white people in entertainment to push their career, but in that process, Black women and our bodies have just totally been discarded from it. You know, they desire our body type, but Black women are still not desired. So if you want to check out that conversation, it was a really good conversation. I have it linked below. One thing that happened in that conversation, and which is actually pretty common in conversations about body image and self-esteem and all of that stuff, is this concept. Said it, love yourself, you gotta love yourself. And as I have grown, I have realized we keep throwing out this elusive concept to solve people's problems, and we need to stop doing it because it does not work, and it actually at this point feels pretty toxic to hear. So I'm hearing it in this panel, and I'm just, every time someone says it, like, I'm not even fronting, like my ass would itch. No, I'm fronting, my ass wasn't itching, but it was just like getting to me. So I finally raised my hand. Not finally, I was talking throughout the panel, but then I say this. It's a question, and I don't know if anyone has the answer to it, but every time I have these conversations and people say, love yourself, what is love? Like, what is loving yourself? Like, what is this thing that everyone keeps telling us to do for, like, what is it? No one tells you what it is. No one gives you the things, the steps, the box of love that with the toolkit. Like, what is that? We keep telling each other to love yourself out of pain.
Are you saying it's kind of elusive?
Yeah, like we keep telling each other to love ourselves out of pain, oppression, depression, all of the things. And it's like, but what is that? What am I supposed to do with that? Mm-hmm. It's not tangible. Mm-hmm. And I wish that we had a little bit more tangible solutions when it comes to conversations about beauty standards and plastic surgery and altering your image and things like that. And I think that's the work I think that should be done. And I haven't done that work myself because I'm still trying to figure out what the heck that even is. But how do we make a tangible solution or a tangible thing into the conversation that is helpful for people when we have these kinds of conversations? So I'm not against plastic surgery at all. I understand how I feel many women, femme people, do things for survival, like feminist does provide some kind of safety for women, especially trans women. And I understand that there are personal things you do to have a loving, caring relationship with yourself, definitely. But I do rather have these conversations and focusing on how these systems of beauty are oppressive and how they bring us to the conclusions that we have to alter our bodies in that way. So I don't like when these conversations happen and everyone just is like bashing women and femmes for not opting out of these systems because it is hard to opt out of these systems of beauty. How could loving yourself be the solution for such a nuanced problem? You know, what the fuck is love? And more importantly, like, what is self-love? Like, no one tells you what it is. No one can say what it is. And because it is so elusive, it makes it become something that no one can achieve. And we could throw it all around. And for me, it starts to feel toxic because you are creating an unattainable goal or standard or an expectation on people who have no control over beauty. I am still thinking about this. I am still figuring this out, but right now I land on not using self-love
as a thing, as a response to these conversations. I think it makes more sense for us to shift the conversation and talk more about self-acceptance, especially as, you know, I've just learned from reading the Bell Hooks books all about love. Love is all about a feeling. People associate love with a feeling, and we do not associate love with care. And I think self-acceptance does give you more of a pathway for care and caring about yourself and caring about the care you receive versus this elusive idea of love, or this elusive idea of self-love rather. Self-acceptance is defined as an individual's acceptance of all of their attributes, positive or negative. It includes body acceptance, self-protection from negative criticism, and believing in one's capabilities. For me, that seems a lot more achievable and attainable. I'm hoping that lands on you the same way. But I did do some research to look for some ways to practice self-acceptance. All of this is a muscle. We are all socialized in the same system of oppression, the same system that tells you if you're dark, if you're fat, if your nose is wide, if your hair is a certain way, if your body is a certain way, if your fat is not in the sexy places, that you are not beautiful. And because you are not beautiful or desirable, it's okay to harm you. You do not deserve care. And that's what this system of desirability does. It tells you who to care for and who not to care for. And that's just, you know, a bigger conversation of oppression that I'm not really going to get into right now. I want to talk about what we can do on a personal level. Of course, we're not going to dismantle the whole system, but, you know, it's good to try to dismantle those things within yourself. Since I wanted to be more solution-based with this, and I'm trying to be a lot more solution-based when I bring up issues that I see societally, I looked into some, I guess, tools for people to practice self-acceptance. We all live in this vacuum of the beauty standard, the oppression that comes with these beauty standards and desirability. So I didn't want to just be like, you know, we're all messed up and just run away. So I did look into some ways to practice self-acceptance. So here's some ways that I think are best to start practicing self-acceptance. I got these tools from kidshelpphone.ca. There's a list of 10 items. I'm only going to share three that stick out with me the most, but I will have the link for this below so you can look into more, so you can look into more ways to continue this journey for yourself. It's always best to not just from face value what you hear from a podcast, what you see on YouTube, what you read in a book. Like, look into these things yourself and take the things that work best for you. No one is a guru. No one is an expert. We're going to start with embracing what makes you unique. And the reason why I love this the most is because I just think it's one of my experience has made this one of the easy things for me to do, is to like embrace and focus on the things that make me different, the things that make me. Like, I relish in those things, and those are the things that make you special. Those are the things that make you stand out. And usually when people make fun of those things that make you unique and stand out, it's because they are jealous of your freedom. There's usually freedom embedded in whatever that special, unique thing that you have or gift that you have. And when people look at it and they poke at it and make fun of it and they tell you to change that, it is usually because they see freedom in that and they see liberation in that and they want to stomp that out of you. So embrace those things. Those things are popping. Keep them in your I'm the shit bag. Do it. Accept it. That's you. Let go of things you can't control or things you can't change. You can't do anything about it. It's important to not focus on the things you can't change. So I'm not talking about not focusing on systemic problems. I will be honest, I don't think I as an individual can change it, but I do think as a collective we can change the world that we live in. So that is not what I mean, and that is not what I'm referring to or talking about. So don't leave here thinking that. But I think it is important to not focus on the things you can't change on your body and, you know, in your life, and just let go. Just let go of those things. Just let go and release those things. I actually suggested this to my homegirl the other day. Write down all the things that are like you're angry about right now, or these bad feelings you have about a person right now, because you can't really change them. The relationship probably is something that couldn't be salvaged, but it's like, write all those things down on paper, burn that paper and release it. Like, just let it go. Just let it go. You cannot change other people. That is their journey for them to change and become better people. You have no control over someone else becoming a better person, treating you better, caring about you better. You have no control over that. So release it. Don't focus on the things you cannot control. Usually that abets anxiety, and yeah, so leave those things alone. And then I'm going to leave you with the last thing to practice self-acceptance is to identify your strengths. So identify whatever those things are. Write down everything you're good at. Every single thing you're good at. Write it down. Now, after you write those things down, do those things. Do those things often. When you do things that you are good at and enjoy, it boosts your confidence. You feel good about yourself. And that is a way to actively practice self-acceptance, because you're doing something that you do well. And at the end of it, you feel like, you know how you feel. You know that feeling. Ride that feeling. Use that as a tool to practice self-acceptance. You cook well, cook often. If you dance well, dance often. If you roller skate well, roller skate often. If you are great at drawing, painting, if you're great at doing hair, if you're great at collaging, if you're great at organizing, if you're great at cleaning, whatever those things are that you're great at and you enjoy doing it, do those things often, because you will feel good often, and you are practicing self-acceptance, and you're focusing on your strengths, and you're not even leaving space and time to focus on the things that are your weaknesses or you might fall short of or you're not so great at. Start with practicing those 3 things for self-acceptance. I'm going to just repeat them again so you know what those things are. Embrace what makes you unique. Let go of the things that you cannot change, and identify your strength and do those things often. Thanks so much for joining me for today's video. Thank you to the patrons for the financial support. I appreciate you. Y'all are real ones. I really hope something stuck with whoever is viewing this video. Like I said, all 10 of the ways to practice self-acceptance are down below. I love to hear from you. I'd like to know if you have been practicing things and if these work for you, or if you have other ways to practice self-acceptance. I would love to hear those. See you in the next video. And remember, you are a bad bitch and you are enough. Stay fly, y'all.